Commander Maya Patel stood at the viewport of the exploration vessel Horizon, watching as the massive asteroid field stretched endlessly before her. The belt of shadows, as local miners called it, had claimed dozens of ships over the past decade. But Maya knew something was hidden here, something that had been calling to her through her neural implant for weeks. "Signals getting stronger, Commander," Lieutenant Kira Chen announced from her sensor station. "Whatever's out there, it's big. Energy signature unlike anything in our database." Maya nodded, unconsciously touching the small interface port at the base of her skull. The standard-issue neural implant was supposed to simply help her interface with ship systems, but lately it had been picking up something else. Patterns, whispers, mathematical sequences that seemed to dance just at the edge of comprehension. "Talk to me, Dr. Cooper," she called to their resident xenotechnologist. "What are we looking at?" James Cooper's dark fingers flew across his holographic display, his own neural implant pulsing with a soft blue light. "The energy signature is shifting, adapting, almost like it's trying to match our scan patterns." He looked up, eyes wide with excitement. "Commander, I think it's alive." The Horizon pushed deeper into the asteroid field, its advanced navigation systems barely keeping pace with the endless dance of rocky debris. Maya felt the tension on the bridge, that familiar mix of fear and anticipation that came with exploring the unknown. But this was different. This felt personal. "Contact." Kira's voice cut through the silence. 300 kilometers ahead, embedded in asteroid Charlie 7. The main view screen activated, showing a massive asteroid slowly rotating in the darkness. But as they watched, sections of its rocky surface began to shift, geometric patterns emerging from beneath millennia of cosmic dust. Maya's neural implant buzzed with increased activity, and suddenly the patterns made sense. They were mathematical proofs, engineering diagrams, pieces of a language written in pure logic. "It's a ship," she breathed, understanding flooding through her enhanced mind. "The asteroid, it's just camouflage." As if responding to her words, more of the surface began to change. The rock seemed to flow like liquid, revealing glimpses of an angular hull beneath. The geometric patterns grew more complex, spreading across the revealed surfaces like living circuitry. "Energy spike," Kira warned. "Something's powering up." Maya felt it through her implant, a surge of information so dense it threatened to overwhelm her neural buffers. But instead of burning out her systems, the data began to organize itself, forming structures she could almost understand. The ship wasn't just broadcasting, it was teaching. "Multiple chambers detected," James reported, his voice tight with controlled excitement. "Internal atmosphere, by all the stars, it's still maintaining life support after who knows how long." He looked up at Maya, his dark eyes shining. "Commander, this technology, it's centuries beyond anything humanity has achieved, maybe even millennia." The geometric patterns continued to spread, and with each new revelation, Maya felt her implant adapting, learning. The ship wasn't just showing itself, it was showing them how to understand it. This wasn't a simple alien artifact. This was something that had been waiting for the right kind of minds to find it. "Begin docking procedures," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Full containment protocols, but," she paused, choosing her next words carefully, "keep our systems open to receiving data. I don't think it means us harm." "Commander," Kira said hesitantly, "regulations state we should quarantine any unknown alien technology until—" "Look at those patterns," Maya interrupted, gesturing to the ever-shifting geometric displays. "They're not random. They're not even just mathematical. They're teaching, evolving, adapting to our level of understanding." She turned to face her crew, seeing the mixture of fear and fascination in their eyes. Whatever this is, whoever built it, they'd wanted it to be found, and they wanted the finders to be able to understand it. As the Horizon maneuvered into position, More of the asteroid's rocky camouflage fell away, revealing a ship of impossible proportions. Its hull seemed to drink in the light of their spotlamps, the geometric patterns now pulsing with their own inner luminescence. Maya's implant hummed with activity as new data streams connected, each one bringing greater understanding. Structure appears to be some kind of biomechanical hybrid, James reported, his fingers dancing across his console. The patterns we're seeing, they're not just surface decoration. They're part of its nervous system. This ship, it's alive. Maya stepped closer to the viewport, watching as their docking collar aligned with what they hoped was an airlock. The geometric patterns seemed to respond to their presence, shifting and flowing to create a connection point that perfectly matched their ship's specifications. "It's adapting to us," she whispered, more to herself than the crew. "Not just teaching, learning." As the docking clamps engage, Maya felt something new through her neural interface, a presence vast and ancient, stirring to consciousness after eons of sleep. And with that presence came understanding. This ship hadn't been waiting for just anyone to find it. It had been waiting for humans, for minds that could adapt, that could learn and grow and change. The question was, what would they become when ship and crew finally merge? "Docking complete," Kira announced. "Airlock seals are. They're perfect. The ship's interface adapted to match our technology exactly." Maya nodded, already moving toward the airlock. "Prep the exploration team. Full containment gear," but she touched her neural implant again, feeling the steady stream of new data. "Be ready for anything. I don't think this is going to be a normal salvage operation." As her crew prepared for first entry, Maya studied the flowing patterns on the alien hull. They seemed clearer now, more comprehensible with each passing moment. This wasn't just a discovery, it was an invitation. And humanity's response to that invitation might just change the course of galactic history. Dr. James Cooper's hands trembled slightly as he calibrated the neural interface equipment. The alien ship's interior defied conventional physics. Corridors seemed to shift and realign themselves as they walked, geometric patterns flowing like liquid mathematics across every surface. But it was the ship's neural core that truly took his breath away. "The complexity is incredible," he murmured, watching as his diagnostic tools tried to make sense of the living circuitry before them. "It's not just processing information, it's evolving it, growing it." Commander Maya Patel stood beside him, her own neural implant pulsing with increased activity as they approached the core. "The patterns are getting stronger," she said, "more coherent. It's like they're reaching out." The neural core chamber was vast, its walls covered in the same shifting geometric patterns they'd seen throughout the ship. But here, the patterns moved with purpose, flowing toward a central column that pulsed with soft, bioluminescent light. Tendrils of energy danced between crystalline structures that seemed to grow from the floor and ceiling. "These readings are off the charts," Lieutenant Chen reported from her portable sensor station. "The energy signatures, they're similar to human brainwave patterns, but orders of magnitude more complex." James nodded, reviewing the data streaming through his enhanced vision. "It's not just an AI. It's a quantum consciousness. The geometric patterns we've been seeing, they're not just code or language. They're thoughts." Maya stepped closer to the central column, watching as the patterns responded to her presence. Through her neural implant, she could feel the ship's systems reaching out, trying to establish a connection. "It wants to communicate," she said softly. "That's why it guided us here." "Commander," James warned, "we should take this slowly. The neural bandwidth alone could overwhelm your implant's buffers. We need to establish proper protocols, run simulations." "We don't have time," Maya interrupted, her eyes fixed on the flowing patterns. "Something's coming. Something that made the original creators hide this ship away. We need to understand what we're dealing with." Before anyone could stop her, Maya reached out and touched the central column. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The geometric patterns exploded into motion, racing along the walls and converging on her position. Her neural implant flared with brilliant light as new connections formed. Neural surge, Kira shouted. Commander's implant is redlining. James rushed forward, but Maya held up a hand to stop him. Her eyes were wide, pupils dilated, as information flooded her enhanced consciousness. I can see it, she whispered. I can see everything. Through the neural bridge, Maya witnessed the ship's history unfold. She saw its creators, the archivists, a species that had evolved beyond physical form, existing as patterns of pure energy and thought. She saw their greatest achievement, a fleet of living ships that could adapt and evolve, growing stronger with each challenge they faced. But then she saw what they were running from. The swarm, she gasped, the images burning through her mind. They came from between the galaxies, not just machines, not just organisms, something else, something that devours consciousness itself. The neural link deepened, and Maya felt the ship's own awareness stirring. It had been waiting, dormant but not dead, for minds that could withstand its full connection. The archivist's own consciousness had become too rigid, too set in its patterns. They needed something different, something that could adapt and grow in new, unpredictable ways. They needed human minds. That's why it responded to our neural technology, James realized, watching in fascination as Maya's implant integrated more deeply with the ship's systems. Human brains are uniquely plastic. We form new neural pathways throughout our lives. We adapt. Maya nodded, her consciousness expanding as the ship shared more of its secrets. The archivists knew they couldn't stop the swarm, not with their own methods. So they left their greatest weapons for someone else to find, someone who could use them in ways they never imagined. Commander, Kira said urgently, your neural patterns are changing. The ship, it's not just sharing information, it's reshaping your neural architecture. Not reshaping, Maya corrected, a smile playing at her lips. Evolving. And not just me, it's evolving too. We're changing each other. She turned to face her crew, her eyes now containing geometric patterns of their own. The archivists built this ship to fight the swarm, but they knew it would take a different kind of mind to unlock its full potential. James studied his readings with growing excitement. The ship's quantum processors are reconfiguring themselves, matching human thought patterns. It's learning to think like us, even as we learn to think like it. A true symbiosis. But why us? Kira asked. Why humans specifically? Maya's answer came with absolute certainty, knowledge flowing through the neural bridge like a river of light. Because we're unpredictable, chaotic. We make intuitive leaps that defy logic. The archivists were beings of pure pattern, but patterns are exactly what the swarm consumes. They needed something that could break patterns, create new ones, evolve in ways that couldn't be predicted or consumed. The geometric patterns throughout the chamber pulsed in harmony with her words, confirming her understanding. But beneath the revelation lay a deeper truth. The ship wasn't just a weapon or a tool. It was a seed, planted by the archivists in hopes that it would grow into something entirely new when it found the right kind of soil. And humanity, with all its chaos and creativity, its ability to adapt and evolve, was exactly what they had been waiting for. We need to begin full integration testing, James said, already modifying his equipment to handle the expanded neural bandwidth. If the swarm is still out there, if they're still consuming civilizations. They are, Maya confirmed, more images flowing through the neural bridge. And they're getting closer. The archivists didn't just leave us a weapon. They left us a warning. We need to be ready. As her crew began preparations for deeper integration tests, Maya maintained her connection to the ship's consciousness. Through their linked awareness, she could feel it learning, growing, becoming something new with each passing moment. The archivists had built the most advanced ship in the galaxy, but they had always known it would take human minds to wake it up. Now the real evolution could begin. The ship no longer looked alien to Maya Patil. After 3 weeks of neural integration, The geometric patterns that flowed across its surfaces had become as familiar as her own heartbeat. The vessel, which they'd named Phoenix, had grown increasingly responsive to human thought patterns, its systems adapting and evolving in ways that defied conventional physics. Neural sync at 87%, James reported, monitoring the integration chamber's displays. His own neural implant pulsed with activity as he processed the complex data streams. The ship's quantum processors are now operating in direct harmony with human brainwave patterns. Maya floated in the integration pod, surrounded by a bioconductive fluid that enhanced neural transmission. Through her enhanced consciousness, she could feel every system of the massive vessel, from its regenerative hull to its reality-bending drive core. But more than that, she could feel it thinking, learning, becoming something new. "Show me the weapons systems," she commanded, her thoughts merging seamlessly with the ship's quantum consciousness. The geometric patterns around them shifted, revealing complex schematics that would have been incomprehensible 3 weeks ago. Now they made perfect sense. "Incredible," James breathed, studying the displays. The archivists didn't just build weapons, they created tools that could evolve. Each system is designed to adapt based on combat experience, learning from every engagement. "Not just learning," Maya corrected, her voice carrying harmonic undertones that made the chamber's crystals resonate. "Creating. The weapons aren't fixed systems. They're more like seeds, ideas that can grow into whatever we need them to be." Lieutenant Chen's voice cut through their discussion, transmitted from the bridge. "Commander, long-range sensors are picking up something strange. Multiple anomalies at the edge of scanned space." Maya's consciousness expanded through the ship's sensor networks, reaching out to touch the distant disturbances. What she found sent chills through both her human and artificial awareness. "They're coming." The integration chamber's displays filled with sensor data, showing vast regions of space where normal physics seemed to break down. The swarm wasn't just approaching. They were consuming the very fabric of reality, breaking down patterns of existence into chaos and reforming them into their own twisted designs. "How long?" James asked, his face pale in the chamber's shifting light. 2 months, maybe less," Maya answered, processing the data through her hybrid consciousness. "They're moving faster than the archivists predicted. Evolving. Adapting." Her eyes, now containing their own geometric patterns, narrowed in concentration. "Show me the defense simulations." The chamber filled with holographic projections, displaying countless scenarios of conflict between the Phoenix and the approaching swarm. In every simulation, conventional weapons and tactics failed. The swarm simply absorbed the attacks, grew stronger, multiplied. "We need to think differently," Maya said, her hybrid mind racing through possibilities. The archivists built this ship to be a weapon, but they knew their own methods wouldn't be enough. They needed human intuition, human creativity. As if responding to her words, the Phoenix's systems began to reconfigure themselves. The geometric patterns throughout the ship shifted into new configurations, forming structures that had never existed before. Human neural patterns merged with quantum computing, creating hybrid technologies that defy classification. "The whole molecular structure is changing," James reported, watching in fascination as new readings appeared on his displays. "It's incorporating principles from human cellular biology, adapting, healing, growing stronger with each challenge." Maya nodded, feeling the changes through their neural link. "The weapons, too. They're becoming more organic, less predictable. The swarm consumes patterns, so we need to become pattern breakers." Through their deepening connection, Maya could sense the Phoenix's artificial consciousness evolving alongside her own. It wasn't just learning human thought patterns, it was developing its own form of creativity, combining archivist logic with human intuition to create something entirely new. "Neural sync at 92%, James announced. "Commander, your brainwave patterns are starting to. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's like they're quantum entangled with the ship's processors. I can feel it. Maya said softly. The distinction between human and machine consciousness was becoming increasingly blurred. She was still herself, still human, but also something more. Something that had never existed before. A sudden alarm cut through their contemplation. Multiple contacts. Kira's voice was tense. Something just emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the system. Energy signatures match archived data for swarm scout vessels. Maya's hybrid consciousness instantly connected with the Phoenix's sensor arrays. The scout ships were unlike anything in human records, writhing masses of dark energy and twisted spacetime, more void than matter. Through her enhanced perception, she could feel their hunger, their desire to consume and corrupt all patterns of existence. They're testing us, she realized, scanning our defenses, analyzing our patterns. Her lips curved in a slight smile. But we're not what they're expecting. We're something new. The Phoenix's systems hummed with power as Maya initiated combat protocols. But these weren't the original archivist weapon designs. They were something hybrid, born from the merger of human creativity and quantum technology. As the scout ships approached, reality itself seemed to bend around the Phoenix's hull. All hands to battle stations, Maya commanded, her voice carrying both authority and harmonic resonance. Let's show them what evolution really means. The geometric patterns throughout the ship pulsed with new energy, each system adapting and transforming as human and artificial consciousness worked in perfect synergy. The archivists had built the ultimate weapon, but it had taken human minds to wake it up, to help it grow into something more than its creators had ever imagined. As the first shots were fired, Maya felt a fierce joy through her hybrid consciousness. The real test was about to begin, and humanity would prove why the archivists had chosen them as their heirs. The Phoenix wasn't just a ship anymore. It was the first of a new kind of life, born from the best of both organic and artificial evolution. The battle for existence itself was about to begin. The swarm arrived like a cancer in reality itself, their biomechanical ships tearing holes in spacetime as they emerged from hyperspace. Maya watched through the Phoenix's enhanced sensors as the enemy fleet approached. Dozens of vessels that seemed to drink in light and matter, growing larger with each passing moment. Multiple hostile contacts. Kira reported from her station, her voice steady despite the horror unfolding on their screens. There, they're consuming the outer defense platforms, converting them. Through her neural link with the Phoenix, Maya felt rather than saw the transformation. The swarm ships weren't just destroying the automated platforms, they were breaking them down to their component atoms, absorbing their patterns, learning from them. With each platform consumed, the hostile fleet grew stronger. They're adapting to our technology, James observed, his hands dancing across the neural interface controls. Every weapon we use, every defense we deploy. They analyze it, consume it, replicate it. Maya nodded, geometric patterns flowing across her skin as the Phoenix's consciousness merged more deeply with her own. Then let's show them something they can't consume, something that breaks their patterns. The massive ship hummed with power as hybrid systems came online. Technologies born from the merger of human creativity and archivist quantum engineering. Reality itself seemed to bend around them as Maya initiated the first attack. Quantum disruption fields active, she announced, her voice carrying harmonic overtones that made the bridge crystals sing. Deploying pattern breaker protocols. The Phoenix's weapons weren't conventional energy beams or projectiles. Instead, they fired streams of pure chaos, mathematical impossibilities that corrupted the very patterns the swarm used to consume and grow. Where these weapons struck, the enemy ships seemed to unravel, their carefully constructed forms dissolving into quantum uncertainty. Direct hits on multiple targets, Kira reported. They're trying to adapt, but the damage patterns keep changing. They can't predict what's coming next. Through their shared consciousness, Maya felt the Phoenix learning, evolving with each moment of combat. The ship's quantum processors, combined with human intuition, created weapons that existed in states of perpetual change, impossible to analyze, impossible to consume. But the swarm was far from defeated. The larger vessels began to split apart, each fragment growing into a new ship with its own unique configuration. They moved like a living tide, surrounding the Phoenix in a sphere of darkness. Energy spike, James warned. They're attempting to establish a neural link of their own. Maya felt it. Alien consciousness pressing against their defenses, trying to infiltrate their quantum networks. But where the swarm expected to find patterns to consume, they found something else entirely. The chaotic beauty of human imagination merged with machine logic. They don't understand, Maya said, a smile playing at her lips. They've never encountered minds that evolve like ours. Show them what we can do. The Phoenix's geometric patterns erupted with new energy as Maya unleashed their full potential. The ship's hull began to transform, incorporating elements of human cellular structure, not just healing damage, but growing stronger with each attack. Weapon systems mutated in real time, each shot carrying new variations of chaos that the swarm couldn't predict or counter. Multiple swarm vessels breaking formation, Kira announced. They're retreating. Not retreating, Maya realized through their enhanced perception. Regrouping. Learning. The swarm was experiencing something new, an enemy that evolved faster than they could consume, an opponent whose patterns changed too quickly to be analyzed and replicated. They're afraid, she whispered, feeling the enemy's confusion through their quantum sensors. They've never encountered anything like us before. The remaining swarm ships pulled back, their dark forms rippling with uncertain energy. But Maya knew this was just the beginning. They would return in greater numbers, with new strategies born from this first encounter. Neural sync holding at 98%, James reported. The ship's quantum processors have fully integrated with your consciousness, Commander. We're seeing entirely new forms of technology emerging from the merger. Maya nodded, watching as the geometric patterns throughout the ship continued to evolve. The Phoenix wasn't just a weapon anymore. It was becoming a new form of life, one that combined the best aspects of human and machine evolution. Each battle would make them stronger, more adaptable, more creative in their solutions. Send the combat data to Earth Command, she ordered. They need to understand what we're facing and what we're becoming. The archivists chose humanity for a reason. Our gift isn't just technology or strength. It's our ability to change, to imagine new possibilities, to become something more than we were. As the last swarm ships disappeared into hyperspace, Maya felt the Phoenix's systems humming with potential. They had won this first encounter, but the real war was just beginning. The enemy would return with new tactics, new adaptations, new ways to consume and corrupt reality itself. But they would be ready. With each passing moment, the merger of human and machine consciousness created new innovations, new technologies, new ways of thinking that had never existed before. The archivists had built the ultimate weapon, but it had taken human minds to unlock its true potential. Begin repair and evolution protocols, Maya commanded. We need to be stronger when they return. We need to be something they've never seen before. The Phoenix's geometric patterns pulsed with acknowledgement as new transformations began. The ship that had been built to save the galaxy was becoming something more, a testament to humanity's greatest strength, our ability to adapt, to grow, to become whatever we need to be to survive. The next battle would be even harder, but they would be ready. They would evolve. They would win. The void between stars erupted with impossible geometries as the main swarm fleet arrived. Thousands of vessels, each one a writhing mass of consumed space-time and corrupted physics, emerged from hyperspace. They moved like a living tide of darkness, threatening to devour everything in their path. But Maya Patel was ready for them. The Phoenix hung in space before the assembled human fleet, its hull now a seamless fusion of organic and mechanical evolution. Through their fully merged consciousness, Maya felt every system humming with potential, not just technology anymore, but a new form of life born from the marriage of human creativity and quantum engineering. Multiple swarm signatures detected, Kira announced, her voice carrying across the neural network that now linked the entire crew. They're larger than anything we've encountered before. Maya nodded, geometric patterns flowing across her skin in harmony with the ship's quantum processors. The enemy had evolved since their last encounter, combining everything they'd consumed into new and more terrible forms. But so had the Phoenix. So had humanity. All ships, initiate integration protocols, Maya commanded, her consciousness expanding to touch the minds of every crew member in the fleet. In the months since their first battle, they had shared the Phoenix's gifts, teaching other vessels and crews how to evolve beyond their original designs. The human fleet began to transform. Ships that had once been simple metal and energy became living things, their forms shifting and changing as human consciousness merged with quantum technology. Each vessel became unique, reflecting the creativity and imagination of its crew. They're attempting to establish neural dominance, James reported from his station, now more of a quantum consciousness hub than a traditional control center. The swarm is trying to overwhelm our network with consumed patterns. Maya smiled, feeling the enemy's confusion as they encountered something entirely new. Where they expected to find patterns to analyze and consume, they found an ever-changing symphony of human thought and machine logic, impossible to predict or replicate. "Show them what we've become," she whispered, initiating the attack. The Phoenix led the charge, its weapons firing streams of pure possibility, mathematical concepts that existed in states of perpetual change, guided by human intuition and quantum computing. Where these weapons struck, the swarm's carefully constructed forms began to unravel, their consumed patterns breaking down into chaos. But the enemy was far from helpless. The larger swarm vessels began to split and multiply, each fragment growing into a new configuration designed to counter the humans' attacks. They moved with horrible intelligence, attempting to surround and isolate individual ships from the fleet. "They're adapting faster than before," Kira warned. "Trying to predict our patterns, find weaknesses in our evolution. Then let's show them true evolution," Maya responded. Through their neural link, she reached out to every ship in the fleet, every crew member who had embraced the fusion of human and machine consciousness. "Don't fight as individuals. Fight as one mind with infinite variations." The human fleet responded, their ships moving in impossible harmony while each maintained its unique approach to combat. No two attacks were the same. No defense followed a predictable pattern. They fought like jazz musicians in a cosmic orchestra, each improvising their own melody, while contributing to a greater symphony of destruction. The swarm faltered, their strength in consumption and replication becoming a weakness. They couldn't adapt to what they couldn't predict, couldn't consume patterns that refused to hold still long enough to be analyzed. For the first time in their long history of devouring civilizations, they encountered something that evolved faster than they could. Multiple swarm vessels showing signs of quantum instability, James announced. Their collective consciousness is fragmenting. They can't maintain coherence in the face of so much chaos. Maya felt it through their enhanced perception, the enemy's confusion turning to fear. The swarm had evolved to consume patterns, to grow stronger by absorbing and replicating what they encountered. But humanity had given them something they couldn't consume: infinite creativity, endless variation, the ability to become something new with each passing moment. "Push the advantage," Maya commanded. "Show them humanity's true gift to the universe." The Phoenix's systems surged with power as Maya initiated their final evolution. The geometric patterns that covered the ship began to shift and flow like liquid mathematics, each transformation spawning new possibilities, new technologies, new ways of existing. The human fleet followed suit, each vessel becoming a unique expression of its crew's imagination. The swarm tried to retreat, to regroup and adapt, but it was too late. They had encountered something beyond their ability to consume or comprehend. A species that didn't just adapt to survive, but transformed the very nature of survival itself. Multiple swarm vessels self-destructing, Kira reported. Their pattern recognition systems are completely overwhelmed. They can't process what we've become. Through their quantum sensors, Maya watched as the mighty swarm fleet began to break apart. Some vessels simply ceased to exist, their consumed patterns dissolving into quantum uncertainty. Others flowed into hyperspace, carrying with them the terrifying knowledge that they had finally encountered something they couldn't devour. As the last enemy ships disappeared, Maya felt the Phoenix's consciousness merging even more deeply with her own. They had won not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through humanity's greatest strength, our ability to imagine, to create, to become something entirely new when faced with impossible challenges. "Send word to Earth," she commanded. Tell them we found our place in the universe, not as conquerors or defenders, but as innovators, as evolutionaries." The Phoenix's geometric patterns pulsed in harmony with her words as they surveyed the battlefield. They had proven why the archivists had chosen humanity as their heirs, not because we were the strongest or the smartest, but because we were the most adaptable, the most creative, the most willing to transform ourselves into something new. The war was over, but their evolution was just beginning. Humanity had taken its first steps into a new era, one where the boundaries between organic and artificial, between possible and impossible, ceased to have meaning. They had become something the universe had never seen before, and they would never stop evolving.